Well, it really depends on where in the world you are. For example, if you're in one of the more developed countries or countries that believe in equal rights between men and women, there definitely isn't a problem. Meanwhile, in places, the place I come to, I think, is Pakistan and Iran, where like religion separates men and women. Puts men into the workforce, puts women into being a homemaker. So women don't really have a chance to learn.
Well, I think it's a problem that in so many places girls aren't being educated. I think that education is a human right and that everyone's entitled to an education. Um, I think something that we can do, because in a first world country and being as privileged as we are, we're pretty removed from the situation. But I think that bringing awareness to it and, being aware and talking about the importance of getting an education and the fact that girls around the world don't get it because they are girls is an important thing for us to do and might be the extent of it in the position that we're in as we're not an organization, we're just individuals. And I think that talking to people and making people aware of the problem is the best we can do.
Um, I think a good course of action. I'm not entirely sure about politics and whatever, but I feel like we kind of have to take action in these types of areas because their culture is built around masculinism, so they're not going to do it willingly. I guess, like not like military force or anything, but like we probably would have to spread ideas or something in their countries because they probably won't do it willingly.
I think they're trying to hide it. Like the people in the country are trying to hide it, and they don't have like internet access and stuff that much in the country, so it's like hard to get around.
At least the United States, because it's not like affecting us. It's not like directly. It's not seen as like something that needs to be like talked about as much. Maybe.
I think some people just don't care because in America, like I said, we have it better than other countries because we already have our education. So why would they focus on countries that don't? Because we really, I'm gonna be honest, we really don't pay attention to other countries unless it's like in history. We're not like paying attention to like the now.
There is a very little coverage over it. And I think probably to A, keep them out of like religious or political conflict, or B, because they don't care, most media isn't covering it. They're covering minor things, which doesn't make sense at all.
I think that a lot of cultures are built around, like I said, they're built around the male. Like the image of God is in a lot of cultures is male. So I mean that's part of it. It's not necessarily like a bad thing, but because humans are humans and want to be better than everybody else, men kind of made themselves like, oh, we're the better ones because we look more like God, and that's like, it's not cool. That you can't you can't do that.
I think some religions are like women should be the ones who stay at home, who like cook and clean and like have children and things like that. They're the ones who should be doing this kind of thing. And that's kind of set in like the old ways. And I think that plays a big role in how people act to certain things like women getting educated and stuff. So I think that's one of the main reasons that women in the Middle East don't get education is because the men think that they shouldn't be. So I think it plays a big role. Um yeah.
Well, culturally, there's always been a very significant difference between men and women. Men are supposed to work, go to the workforce, make money, be the breadwinner of the family, while women are supposed to stay home and raise children because it's seen as a more motherly trait, even though both roles could easily interchange.
I'm sure like cultures play a decent role and stuff, especially like different ideas and everything. Because if you have a culture where like women don't tend to have an education and it's like accepted that like women just like won't get an education, then like that becomes the normal. And then you keep on that path of like women not getting an education, everything like that.
And well, like when we buy clothes and stuff, a lot of the clothes we buy are like made from like people who are being like forced to make them instead of like making them on their own. And so when we buy, we're only giving money to the cause.
Consumerism is kind of not the best when it comes to focusing on women because it's kind of people tend to pay women less for working in certain areas than men. I'm not sure why. It's probably because sometimes they have harder times finding jobs, so they feel like they should pay them less, or they can pay them less, and that's also not okay. And in labor laws in other countries, same idea. They feel like they can force women and children to do stuff. um, they think that they can force women and children to do labor, even though they probably aren't the best suited for it, and so they kind of overwork them. And because maybe they feel like women and children are better suited for labor, or because they don't have to do it, they don't do education in other countries. Maybe that's why, and that's seriously not a good thing at all.
Honestly, the lack of labor laws definitely come into a play here because it creates a need for more people. And so there is more need for women to be housewives so they can keep producing children. So those children can go into the unused labor laws for child labor to help with American consumerism.
I think that spreading awareness might make other girls realize that because if you live in a culture your entire life, a certain way, you might not realize that it's wrong and that there are better lives out there. So maybe spreading awareness would help them realize that there is a better life out there and that they could get to it if they spoke up or if we help them.
Well, issues around the world are enabled by ignorance. So if we're not aware of something that's happening, the people who want them to happen, the people who profit from those injustices, get to keep doing it because there's no one there to stop them. So I think things like this, like what you're doing, are great because, even if you're just raising awareness within your community, at least people are aware and someone will do something about it. And we can hold people in power accountable for doing less than what they should be.
No, I think the more the word gets out, the more that can help. I think we could make it aware around the world, like make everyone know about it, so that like we can do something about it.
I would tell them that having an education it really opens your eyes to a lot of things in the world, and it will put you on equal standings with a lot of men. And it's really a good thing, and it will help you get jobs, and it will help you do so much more in life than you could otherwise. So please, if you get the opportunity, please try and go to school and get an education.
If you're growing up in a position where you don't have access to education and then you do have that chance, I don't think anyone would give that up if they had the opportunity. I think it's mostly a matter of making sure everyone has that opportunity in the first place. So I would say, not to the people whose educations are at stake, but to the people who is depriving these people of education, that education is a human right, and no one in the modern day can really get anywhere without it.
I would tell them to keep on fighting and like never give up, and like don't listen to what other people have to say. Just like keep on fighting and never give up until you have your right to go to school.
I'd say, I don't know, just go for it, because education is such a versatile tool. It is one of the things that you can like take with you forever. It's not a physical object that you can like lose one day. It's something that you take forever with you, and it can help you like build on yourself and your experiences to be able to achieve like greater things and more opportunities.
It's definitely worth it because you can make a difference. So you can get an education, and your, I guess, younger sisters, you could call them, can get it too, because we're all connected by just being a woman and having to go through everything in the world today. So I think it's definitely worth it, and it's something you need to put yourself out there for.
Destroy the patriarchy. Do not care what anyone else tells you. You are wonderful and I believe in you, but destroy the patriarchy first, please.
Thank you.